What is up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Hey, hi, hello. My name is Ella and I am 25 years old. I live here in Adelaide, South Australia. I do a lot of lifestyle content, weekly vlogs, as well as some money and budgeting videos. If you guys are into that kind of content, definitely consider subscribing and give this video a thumbs up if you do enjoy it. It really helps my channel out. I really appreciate it. And follow me over on my Instagram as well. It's a good time over there. And I think that's enough self-promo from me. But yeah, today I was just in the mood to sit down with you guys, coffee in hand, and just like chat about money. This is something I love to do. I love talking about finances with people and just like learning about how they do things and just like being educated and being exposed to different ideas and different ways of thinking. I think a lot of finance and budgeting and just money in general, a lot of it's like a mindset thing. Of course, there's, you know, privilege and all the other things that come with it, but a lot of it does come down to like the mindset and psychology behind things. I just find it incredibly interesting. And yeah, I just feel like with all the different life changes in the last couple of months, that's also kind of impacted our finances and our financial goals and just kind of how we do things. So I thought I'd sit down and just like have a open, honest, candid chat with you guys. I'm going to try and edit this as little as possible. It's going to hurt me because you know me. I stumble on my words. I do. A lot of umming and ahhing, but I just want to keep this as honest and candid as possible. I don't know if this is gonna be like a regular thing on my channel. You guys will have to let me know if you enjoy this and if you want to see more videos like this. But I was watching Carter and Zoe here on YouTube. I'll have both their channels linked down below, and they both do like monthly money updates, kind of like mid-month, and I thought it was such a good idea. I obviously do my monthly resets where I go through like our budget and talk about the previous month and do a bit of reflection on that, but there's only so much I can talk about and like cram into one video. Sometimes I feel like I could go off on like a whole tangent about certain topics, and so I just wanted to create a space where I could do that with this. So I've got my cup of coffee and I'm ready to sit down and chat with you guys, just like catch up like two friends just talking about their financial goals. So cheers to that. Yeah, I guess I'll start by talking about the most obvious and recent little life update, which is my new job, just to catch you guys up to speed in case you're new here or you just like haven't been keeping up with me and my life, which I mean, I don't blame you. There's been a lot going on and you have your own life to live. I quit my last job that I was at for 18 months at the end of March, and I quit with no other job lined up. So I was basically unemployed. There's no basically, I was unemployed. I was an unemployed gal for a quick second there, and then I got married, went on a honeymoon, came back, and I got this job. I didn't even look for this job. This job just kind of found me, which I feel like it always works out like that. The universe and the stars just aligned, and here I am in like a really good job that I'm really enjoying. The work environment is just so much more positive than my last role, which is really what I was looking for. And yeah, there's been so many good perks. One of them being I do get paid a little bit more, so I'm getting taxed a lot more. So it's actually not that much difference. I think per pay I get like $10, $15 more, which I mean, every dollar counts and I'm grateful, but it's not as much as I thought it would be. And my first paycheck was a little bit misleading because I only got paid 1 week's worth of pay, and I was like, oh my god, this is great. But obviously I didn't get taxed like I normally would, if that makes sense, because it was just 1 week's worth of pay and I normally get paid fortnightly. So I got my first fortnightly paycheck last week, and I mean, yeah, it was exciting to get paid again after like a couple months of no money. So that was really good, and honestly I'm just grateful to be in a job that I'm loving. Like I don't really care about the money as long as I can cover our expenses and just live my best life. I'm also just grateful for the environment and learning a lot of new skills, which I know will be really valuable career-wise. So I'm loving that. One thing I am kind of struggling with and just trying to adjust to is our payday routine and kind of what that looks like. With my last job, Nick and I were on the same pay cycle, so we both got paid on the same day every fortnight, which was really nice. I felt rich for like a hot second until we had to pay the mortgage and bills. So the money would just come in every fortnight on the same day and we would just allocate accordingly. Now with this new job, we're on opposite pay cycles. Like there's one paycheck coming in every week, which you think would be better. And it probably is. Like it has the potential to be really good to get paid every single week, but it's just not what I'm used to. So I'm just trying to like adjust to that. I had a very specific routine. We would get paid. I did a whole video on it. I'll have it linked down below. It's not like it's any different. Like we're getting paid the same amount, but it's just like changing my mentality. Like I said, I don't think it's a bad thing, and I think it's something that we'll grow to really enjoy, but I guess just making those adjustments. Something else I've been kind of trying to grapple with is a bit of lifestyle creep, to be honest. I think it's a combination of going from one income for a little while there to going back to two and be like, oh my god, we have so much more money to play with, and just like not having to watch our spending as much as we were before. Like that was something I was very conscious of, knowing that I was unemployed and we were just living off one income. Like we made a few different lifestyle changes, and just that whole like mindset shift, I was a lot more frugal, I guess you could say, and then going back to two incomes again. Not that our financial situation is any different to how it was before, but I think that switch has been a little bit hard to kind of get my head around. And I think that combined with reaching a big financial goal, which is our wedding, and also the house and settling on our land, like those were very big life goals that we were simultaneously saving for. And so to reach them at very similar times, and then to have all of that kind of behind you, essentially ticking them off, we don't really have like any big financial goal that we have our sights set on. And so I think we're not as hyper focused and I guess as motivated as we were before. So I feel like we've just been naturally spending a little bit more than we were before, which, as I said in my reset video, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's just like natural. I don't think it was sustainable long term. So I guess just trying to find that new balance again and just figure out what our next big financial goal is. Like we have little things that we're trying to save for. I mentioned in my June reset video that if we hit our savings goal this month, we will have saved the full amount for our new house. Our goal amount was $25,000. So that's for basically anything that comes along with like moving and settling into a new house. We've obviously rented in the past, but this is like our baby. Like this is something that we've been working towards for so long. We really want to make sure it's furnished how we want. I think because we have lived in a couple of rentals and we've been living out of home for a couple of years, we kind of know the things that we're willing to invest in. And so yeah, we just wanted a decent amount set aside for that so we can get a new fridge. We have to get things like a dishwasher, and eventually want to get solar panels. We got rid of our couches in our last house. All of our stuff is in storage while we're living with my parents. I mean, $25,000 should be more than enough to cover it and then just give us like a nice little buffer. And all going well, by the end of this month, we should have reached that goal amount of $25,000. So that's pretty exciting. But again, just kind of like leaves us in this limbo, this weird limbo of like trying to figure out what we're working towards next. Like, do we try and pay off our mortgage and try and like bring that down? Is that like the smartest thing to do right now? I don't know. Do we invest? Do we work towards something else, like a new car or a big holiday? Like, I really don't know. I think we need to figure out like our life goals, and then the financial side of things will kind of come into play. We're just a little bit lost at the moment, not in a bad way, but we're just kind of like living in the moment, living for the now, and we really don't know what the next few years are going to look like for us. Like it could really go one of two ways now that we're married and we'll have our house soon. Not that this is like a reason to do it or like the right way to do things, but I mean, we could, you know, go down the path of like having kids in the next few years, or do we wait and like travel? And I don't know, we both really don't know. We're just like trying to find ourselves and figure out what our next few years are going to look like, and then I think with that we'll kind of know what direction we want to take our finances. Like if we decide that we want to start having kids in the next couple of years, we should really get a new car. I mean, we should probably do that anyway. It's on its last legs, so that's something we should probably start saving for. But I'm like, oh, car, and cars right now are so expensive and like so hard to find. I don't know guys, I really don't know. Sorry guys, my camera died halfway through me talking about our quarter life crisis. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with our financial goals. We're just lacking a little bit of direction in our life as a whole, not in a bad way, in just like a good go with the flow kind of way. And so that's also reflecting in our personal finances. We're having a lot better of a month in terms of spending. One of my goals for June was to spend a little bit less. We've definitely done that, or spend less than we did last month, which I think we have done so far. Yeah, after this month, in terms of our short-term financial goals, I mentioned in my reset video, we want to start putting money aside and saving for a dog, so that when we move into our house, which will hopefully be by the end of this year, we can get a dog. Whether we decide to adopt or buy, whatever we end up doing, I think it's important to set money aside for all of those expenses, because having a dog is not cheap. that's for sure. So that's another thing we're working towards, but honestly we could finish saving for that in the next 6 weeks. And it's like, what else are we doing? I don't know. We are just having a quarter life crisis, my friends. It's kind of nice to be in this season of life where we don't really have a plan and we're just like living for the now. I don't know what we'll end up doing, whether we travel or want to buy a new car. I don't know. The world's our oyster, truly. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at in terms of our finances. I feel like we're in a really good position. I was looking back and considering we bought a house or like settled on our land and had a whole ass wedding that we paid for, we're sitting quite pretty, I will say. So yeah, very proud of us for where we're at. I'm so excited for what's to come. I'm trying to think of like some other questions that you guys have had. Oh, a few questions about investing and whether or not we do that. I won't go too into detail because I really don't know a lot about investing. It's all very new to me. Obviously we both have our supers. I'm not sure how it works in other countries, but here in Australia, if you're employed, your employer will contribute towards your super, which is what you have when you retire. So that's all worked into our pay. And then of course you can make additional super contributions if you want to. I think that's something that we might look into, just like thinking about retirement. I don't think it's ever too early. And I know that if we make even just small little contributions in the long term, that'll obviously be very beneficial. Just thinking about 65-year-old Ella. That wasn't really a priority before because we had other things that we wanted to do, like buying a house, but now we're in a different position. I think it's important to start considering that. I have made small little investments. I think I've invested about $1,000, I want to say. But it's definitely something I want to look more into and just like educate myself on. Also starting to make extra mortgage payments on top of our mortgage repayments now so that we can hopefully pay it off quicker. But yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on what we end up doing. Yeah, we have a lot to think about. We're a little bit lost financially, emotionally, mentally, but not in a bad way. Because I feel like when you say, oh, I'm feeling lost, there's like negative connotations, but it's in the best way possible. Like feeling lost, but in like a go with the flow kind of way, like just living life. It's pretty great. So yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. I wrote a little listy-loo. Oh, sharing finances. That's something I will probably talk about in a future video, maybe another one of these money diary videos, because I feel like that's a whole topic within itself and I have a lot to say on that topic. Let me know if you guys want to see that. Another thing that I briefly wanted to touch on was my social media income. It's almost tax time here in Australia. It's nearly the end of the financial year. It's at the end of June. And so it's time to figure out my taxes, which is fun. Obviously with my full-time job, it's, you know, it takes care of itself because everything's taxed already. But in terms of my social media income, that's something that I have had to keep track of. I don't know if I've done the best job of it, to be honest. I have a whole spreadsheet and I've been able to track, you know, I've tracked every single dollar that I've made, but I haven't been the best at setting aside that money. So I know come tax time, this is like the first year that I've made like a substantial amount of money doing YouTube. So it's the first time that I'll be owing like a lot of tax money. I say, yeah, like a decent amount that I'll be paying towards taxes for my social media. I'm a little bit worried about, not really, because I've done the maths and I think the tax return that I would get from my full-time job would be basically the tax that I owe from my social media. So I think it will balance itself out, but I think going forward, especially if my social media continues to grow as it is, and I continue to, you know, make money from AdSense and doing brand deals and sponsorships, I think it's probably a good idea to actually be more aware and set that money aside, because right now it's just kind of all over the place. Just being a little bit more intentional and on the ball and just like keeping track of things and expenses. Yeah, just like being a little bit more switched on this next financial year. I think I need to do like a little, not a rebrand, but like a refresh of our bank accounts. At the moment we have, how many do we have? 3? I want to say 4 maybe, which sounds like a lot, but I feel like it's not enough. We have our emergency fund, our everyday spending, which is linked to our debit accounts. That's like all of our everyday transactions, our bills account, where all of our direct debits come out of. And then we have our long-term savings for things like our home, when we had our wedding, that kind of thing. But I feel like maybe 1 or 2 more could be beneficial. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. We have little direction and don't really have a plan, and yeah, just finding it hard to find that extra bit of motivation to want to save when we don't have a direction. Do you know what I mean? Like, we don't have a big financial goal. I found it kind of easy to save money when we were saving for a house or were saving for the wedding. I would go into a shop or be doing some online shopping, and I would ask myself, like, do I need this? Or would I rather put that money towards our wedding or our house? And it's so much easier to be like, nah, don't need it. Close the tab, leave the store. Like, I don't need it when I have that goal in mind. So I feel like it's easier to overspend and just be a little bit more frivolous with our purchases when we don't have that long-term savings goal in mind. So yeah, that's something we need to work on, something we need to figure out, but I feel like we need to figure out our life plan before we do that. Not that we're not saving, like, I mean, by the end of this month, we should have saved almost $4,000. So we're doing okay. It's not like that we're not saving anything, but I know that we could save more if we had that bit of direction and bit of motivation. So yeah, that is how things are looking in terms of our budget so far this month. I feel like we've been pretty good. We still have a few more tweaks to make. Our coffee spending, I don't even want to talk about because that's just like a whole nother story within itself. I'm in this season of acceptance with our coffee spending. I feel like we both don't really spend much money on other things. I don't get my nails done anymore. I don't get eyelash extensions. I get my hair cut like 2 or 3 times a year. I don't really buy many clothes, don't really buy much makeup unless it's on sale. Like, I just don't really spend a lot of money on myself. And so if spending $5 on a coffee every day will bring me joy, then so be it. Everyone has their thing, and I think coffee is mine, and I'm okay with that. I will die a happy woman, a caffeinated happy woman. I'm not gonna be on my deathbed being like, oh, I wish I hadn't spent all that money on coffee. Like, it's life. And I think it's just the act of doing it and spending time with Nick and just, I don't know, it just brings me joy. And everyone has something, whether it's books or makeup or clothes. It could be a lot worse. It could be drugs, sex, or rock and roll. And coffee, I feel like, is kind of harmless. I mean, it is a drug. Caffeine is a drug, but it's my drug of choice. So cheers to that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this video up here. I don't even know what this was. I feel like this was me just like spilling my whole life story to you guys, but hopefully you guys found this interesting or somewhat relatable or just got something out of this. And if you didn't, that's cool too. I just won't do these again. If you did enjoy this, definitely let me know. Let me know what you guys want me to discuss in future money chats. But this was fun. I feel like I was just sitting down having a coffee with the gals. If you did make it this far, definitely give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. I love you guys so much, and I will see you very, very soon for another video. Bye guys. Do just what you want.